Boys are idiots.
Having come out just a few days ago, Firefly Lane has quickly become one of the most popular Netflix originals to ever grace the platform, moving to the trending list of the streaming giant by capturing the attention of viewers across the world. And with both Katherine Heigl and Sarah Chalke at the helm, it's no wonder why fans are already calling for a second season. But what do we know about this majorly anticipated second season of the franchise, and how sure can we be of this info? Well, whether you're a fan of the feel-good series or just love to stay up to date with everything happening in the world of entertainment, stay right where you are, as we're about to go explore everything that we currently know about Season 2 of Firefly Lane. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, as things are about to get interesting. Firefly Lane in a nutshell. For those of you who haven't quite taken the leap and watched Firefly Lane yet, it follows a lifelong friendship of Tully Hart, as portrayed by Heigl, and Kate Malarkey, as portrayed by Sarah Chalke. With both women having grown up on Firefly Lane, it didn't take long for the two to become friends with one another and share the dream of becoming big in the era of on-air television journalism. From the nostalgia that has emanated from their childhood set in the 70s to the drama of their adult lives in the television industry itself, Firefly Lane is a show that appears to twist the genre categories we currently have, becoming a blend of comedy, drama, and incredible sadness. Suffice it to say, watching Firefly Lane is a journey on its own that can be completed in just one sitting, considering that the season only consists of 10 episodes. So, if you haven't jumped on the bus just yet, go ahead and do that before continuing on with the video, as there's going to be some serious spoilers ahead. You've been warned. The source material. Since the series is so intricate in its writing, you won't be surprised to hear that it's actually based on a novel written by Kristen Hanna. This epic 500-page book has been heralded as one of the greatest of our generation, with the author itself on many occasions referring to it as the most personal of any of the tales that she's told. When discussing the source material with Oprah Mag, Ben Lawson, who plays Kate's husband, John Ryan, told the interviewer that only half of the book's events have been covered by season 1 of the show. He continued to say that, quote, "There's plenty to go, just from the first novel. There's also a sequel. Hopefully audiences delve in and we can continue." This is clearly good news from the fans of the show that have been begging for a second season. Not only does it show that there is a lot more content out there, but it also shows that Ben Lawson is more than willing to play the role of John Ryan again, who is definitely one of our favorite characters in the soon-to-be franchise. Rowan Curtis, who plays the role of Kate Malarkey in her teenage years, also told the interviewer that the ending of the novel absolutely devastated her. When discussing her experience while reading the book, she said, quote, "I don't think I've ever cried so hard reading a book." And while we can mostly use this passion of hers to confirm that Rowan will also be in a return at the silver screen as Kate, it also points to the fact that season 2 of the series might very well lead to a tragedy for our two friends, which is likely to be one of the most heartbreaking experiences of the year. But if you've already read the source material, then you will also know that Netflix has changed a few things and even added a few plot points, ranging from Tully's relationship with Max to giving Kate's brother Sean a heightened role in the series. In other words, we should expect some twists and turns in the future, as the showrunners would love to catch fans of series off guard, and sticking to the source material exactly has the effect of minimizing the ability of theirs. The renewal of Firefly Lane. Since Firefly Lane only came out just a few days ago, we can't blame Netflix for not renewing the original property just yet. Even though it has soared to the top of the platform's trending list, there are still a few variables to take into account before okaying this renewal. First of all, Netflix values rewatchability, as can be seen by the purchasing of properties like The Office, Parks and Rec, New Girl, and Friends. It's by making rewatchable shows available that the streaming platform ensures that viewership won't drop unexpectedly after all. Secondly, since it's only been a few days since the release of the first season of Firefly Lane, Netflix is most likely going to wait for a full month's worth of stats concerning the show itself. It's only then that the proportions of a second season can be taken to investors who are essentially in charge of what gets released on the platform. And lastly, we cannot forget about the situation the filming industry and the world in general currently finds itself in. The global health situation has spread across the world and has caused many people to lose their jobs. It also needs to be said that this has caused many delays for a lot of Netflix properties, such as the 4th season of Stranger Things and the 2nd season of The Witcher. In other words, Netflix as a company and a streaming service has its hands full at the moment, so we can't exactly blame them for not renewing the show just yet. But if we consider the multiple cliffhangers that the season finale presented us with, as well as the sheer amount of content that still exists in the novel and sequel, we don't believe that there's a shadow of a doubt that Firefly Lane will not be renewed for the months to come. We just think that we need to give Netflix some time before they actually confirm the news, the release date of season 2. Since the series hasn't been renewed yet, there is no telling for sure when season 2 will be making its way into our TV screens. But what we can do is take a look at the process of developing the first season and make assumptions as to what we could possibly expect as anticipated. So keep in mind that this information is far from confirmed, but it's likely that we can come to expect it from Netflix. Surprisingly enough, it was back in February of 2019 that the streaming giant okayed the development of the show, indicating that it would be created by showrunner and executive producer Maggie Friedman and consist of 10 episodes. Casting then took place about 5 months later, with filming starting in September of that year in Burnaby, British Columbia. The filming of the first season was then concluded in January of last year, a mere 5 months after it started. Luckily for the cast and production crew, this was just before the global health situation had hit Canada, which allowed them to escape on set delays. But the same could not unfortunately be said about the editors of the show, who ended up spending a full year working from home to ensure that the franchise was brought to life in February of that year. Taking the above timeline into consideration and assuming that a second season of Firefly Lane is likely going to be announced at the end of the month, we can probably expect Netflix to be able to release the final product by June of 2022 at the earliest. And while it is possible that the release date for this anticipated season could be sooner, it's also true that it could be a heck of a lot later, so let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. The expected plot of the new season. As we know from watching the series finale of Firefly Lane, the story of Tully and Kate is far from over. Rather than tying up loose ends and resolving plot lines, the showrunners made sure to end the season with a few cliffhangers that have fans screaming for more. And we now find ourselves in a situation where, without a second season, the story of Tully and Kate will forever be open-ended, which would be the absolute worst way to end things. In a traumatic and heartbreaking moment in the final minutes of the finale, we see Kate coldly turn Tully away from her father's funeral, saying, quote, "When I said I would never forgive you for what you did, what do you think that meant?" Viewers were left confused by what Tully had done to Kate, as right now, we've got absolutely no idea. Unlike the novel that the show is based upon, which unfolds linearly, the showrunners of Firefly Lane play with time quite a bit, using it to produce dramatic moments like this, causing fans to beg for answers. And the question that we are left with at the moment is, what on earth did Kate and Tully fight about? We know that they do both crave the lives that the other friend lives, fully encapsulating the thought that the grass is always greener on the other side. Didn't Tully perhaps do something to threaten this logic? Did she perhaps try to get what Kate has? Well, there's no doubt that the second season will be building up to and portraying this fight of theirs. On the subject of what the fight could be about, Katherine Heigl commented that it wouldn't be about Tully possibly sleeping with Kate's husband. In other words, quote, "It can't be Tully sleeping with Johnny. I don't think that any friendship can come back from that. I'll fight to the death that it's not that." The continuation of the novel might also hold the secret to what this fight was actually about. In the book, Tully actually invites Kate and her daughter Mara on her talk show to speak about their relationship. While live on air, Tully accidentally insinuates that Kate's a bad mother. Explaining the situation in her own words, Heigl once stated, quote, "Tully was trying to help, but in a really thoughtless way that was all about Tully. She doesn't realize that she's publicly humiliating her friend on live television, and, at the same time, taking the 14-year-old's side. That would be enough to put a serious rift in the relationship." But we also expect the second season to answer a couple of other questions that the first season left us with. What did teenage Sully actually go after her mother was taken away by the police department? And does she ever fully recover from her breakup with Max, along with her miscarriage? There's so much in the words to unpack, so a second season is most definitely necessary. But what about you? What do you think of Firefly Lane? Feel free to let us know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you guys next time.